Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Bufkin over here taking a look at Phyla-Vell with her brand new uniform. And honestly, I've got some mixed feelings. So in this video, we're gonna be doing an honest review on what actually changed, where she fits, and whether this uniform is worth picking up, especially if you are a vet player or someone who's still building their roster. So yeah, let's start with the uniform itself. The main thing that I care about isn't Phyla-Vell's standalone damage, and even though she did get her tier 4, it's her value as a support. So yeah, her support buffs went from skill damage bonus damage to damage dealt to bosses, which is actually a nice improvement for PvE. The big question is, where can she consistently use that value and what restrictions actually let her slot in? So before we even test anything, let's quickly run through the modes and restrictions where she realistically competes for a spot. Starting things off in Alliance Battle Extreme, for around 19, your best DPS option here is Loki. Now even though you do have a lot of support options here, Sylvie is still a standout teammate for Loki because of the team bonus synergy. But the third slot is where you want the best support possible. And this is where Phyla-Vell starts to fall short. Ronin exists, he has a good leadership with support, and even the new Nova can compete depending on how good your artifact is. Now if we ignore the artifacts and take a look at base value Phyla-Vell, she can hang around, but she is not clearly taking the slot over the usual best options. Then we have round 20 for Alliance Battle Extreme, where Gamora stays on top. Now you might be curious about Phyla-Vell's value as a DPS here. Now I don't think her value is going to be that well, as she is not that good of a damage dealer. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with considering her being a support. As for supporting Gamora here, Phyla-Vell is basically useless, as her support buffs only apply to universal characters and Gamora is a speed type character. So yeah, she is not going to be helping the team out in any way possible. Moving on, we have Alliance Battle Legends around 25 for Scarlet Witch. This is the restriction where I think Phyla-Vell has her best chance to look good. There are a few standout supports depending on what your account looks like, but from a more free-to-play friendly perspective, Proxima and Phyla-Vell are the two options that make the most sense. So yes, this is one of the better lanes for her, and I'll be testing her here later in the video, so yes, stay tuned for that. Then we have round 26 where Loki comes back again and Sylvie is basically locked in. For the last slot however, the usuals would have been Yondu or Ronin or something along those lines, and I just don't think Phyla-Vell's support is gonna be able to take over these characters. So yeah, taking that into consideration, Phyla-Vell in my opinion comes short here as well. Okay, so enough with the talking, let's get into some testing. We're in the universal female restriction in Alliance Battle Legends. We're keeping Satana as a staple and we're swapping between Morgan Le Fay and Phyla-Vell since their buffs are the most similar and it makes sense for a cleaner comparison. So yeah, for the first run, we are gonna be testing out Morgan Le Fay. Now my Scarlet Witch has a brilliant rage. Let's see how we end up performing. And we end the run with 15.86 million on the board. That's a solid starting point. Now we swap in Phyla-Vell to see if she can actually improve the score. I'll be real, Scarlet Witch can be annoying to play properly, so yeah, I wouldn't say this is absolutely perfect gameplay, but it was one of the better runs that I got in with Phyla-Vell specifically. You really want to leverage the tier 4 skill timing to squeeze the most value out of your setup. So yeah, let's see how we end up doing with the Phyla-Vell team. By the end of the run, we landed at 15.89 million. My second best run was 15.87 million. So you can see where the ballpark is for the scores. So yes, Phyla-Vell performed almost identical to Morgan Le Fay in this specific setup, which makes you wonder if she is even worth picking up if you already have Morgan Le Fay. And if your roster has already established supports for the restrictions she qualifies for, I really don't think you need to go out of your way to pick this uniform up. Now, she did get a tier 4, which means you can bring her into World Boss Legend Plus content if you commit to building her, but there's another catch here. The boss damage value is only PvE, so you're not getting the same kind of crossover value in PvP. For example, I use her in Team Battle Arena, and my team honestly feels weaker with the new uniform than it did with the base version, because the skill damage bonus damage actually is useful in PvP, while the boss damage is absolutely useless. So for the conclusion of this video, in my opinion, for veteran or seasoned players, I don't think this is a good pickup per se. The upgrade is too small if you already have comparable supports. However, if you are a newer player or building up your Alliance Battle roster, the uniform can actually be a decent pickup because you can fill up the roles that otherwise require more expensive or paywall supports. That's going to do it for this one. However, I'm planning to do a similar video on Nova with his new uniform, so yeah, stay tuned for that. But for Phyla-Vell, I just don't think this uniform has received a big enough upgrade for most players to chase. Anyways though, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, take care and peace.